Brian, you may want to turn your camera off.
All right. Good evening, everyone. It's Tuesday, June 15th, and this is the public board meeting for the Avon Grove Charter School. We're going to call the meeting to order, and we're going to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. If everyone would recite after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The executive team did have a executive session for an HR matter. Moving on, if you'd recite the mission statement, please. To inspire the passion for lifelong learning, one student at a time. Thank you. Susan, would you do roll call, please?
Yep. Dwayne Degler.
Here.
Eugene Steger.
Here.
Stacy Barno.
Here.
Rob Renier.
Here.
Deji Akintoy. No.
He's
Brian
here.
Ladd. Sorry.
Here.
Oh, sorry.
There's David.
Sorry. Brian Ladman.
Here.
Michelle McCrae.
Here.
Colleen Preston.
Here.
Kristen Smith.
Here.
Thank you very much, Susan. So we're going to move along to the approval of the board working session minutes. These were from May 18th, 2021. Is there any comments or concerns? All right. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from May 18th?
Dwayne, Stacy Barno, I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second. Michelle McCrae.
Any further discussions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. They're approved. Approval of the board minutes from the same night, May 18th, 2021. Any questions, comments, corrections? Excellent. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Kristen Smith, thank you. Do I have a second?
A second.
Colleen Preston, thank you. Any further comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Thank you. Approved. Brian Bruto, student enrollment.
So student enrollment for the period ending, I did it through the end of the year. We ended the year at 1852. Throughout the month of May and to the end of the year, we did have 2 students withdraw. We did not have any new enrollments. And as of May 31st, we had 550 applications submitted for the 21-22 school year. And we have received a number more since the 1st of June as schools are closing. So that continues to creep up and rise.
Excellent. Thank you. Anyone on the board have any questions? Okay. We'll move along to public comments. Brian, you can go ahead. Just a reminder to everyone out there is a time limit of 3 minutes on every comment. So Brian, I'll let you take it away.
All right, so the first comment tonight is from Andrew and Rebecca Orlovsky. I would point out that a number of these comments are all related to the same topic, which is going to be addressed. It was already scheduled to be addressed in tonight's board meeting agenda with the health and safety plan. So the first comment again is from Andrew and Rebecca Orlovsky. It reads, "Dear decision makers, please consider the actual facts and immediately remove all masking and distancing requirements from students attending classes and activities. It's absurd to think that the masks are doing anyone any good. And there's a clear body of scientific research to demonstrate just that and the reality that these measures have done significant damage to the psychological, physiological, and social development of children. Additionally, we urge you in the strongest ways to remain strong in your resolve to add no further restrictions or requirements for participation in academics and extracurriculars. Do not even consider unconstitutional requirements of students' participation in the largest and most damaging clinical trial in human history." The next comment is from Rebecca Clark of Coatesville Area School District. Please consider the current Chester County updated guidelines for masking children, as well as the current facts and statistics surrounding our children being masked. I'm asking you to consider for this summer camp's extracurricular activities and the 21-22 school year. The Chester County Department of Health updated its guidelines as of June 10th, stating, given the current low incident and positivity rates, our department has revised its guidance on wearing of masks for summer camps and in anticipation of the start of the school year at the end of August. It additionally states that Chester County can remain safe with masks being optional rather than mandatory for settings such as summer camps with regard to the return to school if the incidence and positivity rates remain at present levels. That their guidance for school officials will be to start the school year with no extra mitigation measures needed, including masks. Us parents have been very patient, appreciative, and understanding of all of AGCS's measures taken to adjust to the changing COVID guidelines, but please take this information from the Chester County Health Department and do the right thing. Our children, vaccinated or unvaccinated, have been given the gift of seeing their fellow classmates and teachers smile, to see expressed emotions, to be able to breathe properly without obstruction, and to no longer come home from school with terrible headaches from masking for 8 hours a day. Our children no longer need to be masked, nor is it recommended any longer by the Chester County Health Department. Going forward, all masks should be optional. Thank you. The next comment is from Ashley Weaver. Consider masks and vaccinations optional. Recent breaking news is showing that the COVID-19 vaccine is affecting adolescents with myocarditis. Mr. Brian Ladman might be able to better explain what that is for me. CDC is having an emergency meeting on June 18th regarding the effects of the COVID-19 vaccine on children. Dr. Fauci's leaked email states how masks are ineffective to COVID-19, and there is now a criminal investigation. The next comment is from April Reardon of Avon Grove School District. Since March of 2020, I have seen a disturbing trend to follow, quote, political science rather than actual fact-based scientific evidence. Medical experts were forced on our children's medical experiments were forced on our children's faces without our consent. What is Charter's plan if the PA Department of Education leverages more school funding in exchange for additional medical experiments on our children? The next comment is from Megan Smith. I'm demanding that a motion be entered that there will be no mandatory mask or vaccines for the upcoming school year and every year after. There will be another pandemic. They are already promising this, and that when that time comes, I need to be assured that you will not be experimenting with my child any longer. The masks were only approved under emergency use authorization, which means it's experimental and cannot be forced upon anybody legally. That means someone tells me the good and the bad about wearing the masks, and I need to give consent for my children to wear the masks, which never happened. The mandates for the masks are illegal, and the reason everyone has gotten away with it is because you're dealing with the corrupt CDC and Dr. Fauci, who are both currently being investigated for crimes against humanity and treason. Do you really want to fall down that path? Because we will be holding you accountable too. The next comment is from Leslie Black of Octorara. Please unmask our children and make the COVID vaccine optional for school attendance in the 2021-2022 school year. The next comment is from Michael Zarconi. The Pennsylvania Parents Protecting Children, or PPPC, urgently requests that Avon Grove Charter School immediately and fully revoke its policy that students must wear masks, also called face coverings, in order to attend and or while attending school, while being transported to and from school, and while participating in any school events, including but not limited to concerts, sporting events, and clubs. We assert that parents and adoptive parents and legal guardians have the primary responsibility for the health and welfare of their children, and that the government and school districts may not usurp that natural right. Requiring that students wear masks is a violation of civil liberties. Masks do little to protect children's health. Studies and medical literature support this statement, and moreover, very few children have contracted COVID-19 and nearly 0 have died from it. Masks harm children's health. Studies have shown that masks lower oxygen intake, which can lead to acute or chronic injury and can worsen underlying health conditions. Alarmingly, interfering with the breathing of a child is one indicator of child abuse. Children are in danger of social and emotional harm due to masking. Masks are a tool for social distancing, which medical literature clearly equates to social isolation, which is also a human rights violation. Wearing masks is especially cruel to special education students and those with mental health challenges. Students' learning is curbed due to masks. Data is emerging to show learning loss, especially in speech and reading. For special education children or English language learners, masks can be in a direct violation to the least restrictive environment under special education law. We urge the school to stop the policy of mandated masking and look forward to seeing the smiling faces of our healthy children returning to school without masks. The next comment is from Kim Tritz of Coatesville Area School District. Dear AGCS board, admin, staff, and our amazing community. Our children's teachers truly did an amazing job keeping students accountable while understanding the struggles of students and families. I'm so proud of our school for having such dedicated employees who love our students as much as their parents do. I'm proud our school communicated clearly, was open on time from September, hybrid and full-time, and was able to provide technology and live instruction for students, and were able to adapt masking for children to accommodate them outside at recess. Charter schools are built on choice, and our school is built on the freedom and ability of parents to choose what's best for our kids. We made the choice to attend this school. Teachers and staff made the choice to work here. We made the choice of in-person or virtual school this year. Parents should once again have the choice of whether or not to mask our children, regardless of vaccination status, in the next school year and upcoming summer camps. It is our responsibility to critically think about the facts and do what's best for our kids. The choice to remain masked or not is and should remain ours. There is readily available documentation and research that supports the unmasking of children in summer camps and school from Chester County Health Department. Research on mask effectiveness, incredibly low COVID infection rates, and high vaccination rates in our county for those who seek it. To those families who are suffering from anxiety, depression, and/or physical health issues due to masking kids for a school year and are concerned about expressing a seemingly unpopular opinion, you're not alone in that opinion. The mental health of our children is suffering because they're not seeing faces, smiles, clear voices, or learning social cues. It's imperative that our school board and admin support the optional masking of students regardless of vaccination status in their next health and safety plan. The next comment and final comment is from Dolores Allen of Coatesville Area School District. As a parent of 2 AGCS students, I ask you to please unmask our children immediately. This in all aspects, including children attending school and extracurricular activities. The Chester County Health Department declared that due to the current vaccine rates and low COVID infection, that there is no longer a need for masking. Additionally, it was stated that if rates stay this way, that there should be no extra mitigation measures needed for kids in the 21-22 school year, including masks. There has been significant damage to this psychological, physiological, and social development of our children. Additionally, more children have died from suicide in our area than have COVID-19. I urge you to state your plan to the PA Department of Education that masks and the COVID-19 vaccine be optional at AGCS. As I understand it, AGCS will still receive ESSERS funds regardless if you follow CDC guidelines. And that concludes the public comments that have been submitted for tonight.
Thank you, Brian. Moving right along, we'll go to the board committees. I'm up first. I just want to say thank you. It's been a great year. I know our annual meeting is in 2 weeks, and it will be nice to see everyone live again. So everyone out there, look for that, but we're going back to our normal format. So thank you very much for a great year and getting through this wonderful COVID mess. So thank you. Rob, finance?
We can wait till we get to the treasurer's report.
Thank you so much. Facilities, Brian.
Good evening, everybody. The minutes from the meeting on June 7th are available on board docs. They have been distributed. There's not too much to add to that. Summer projects are in full gear, and the specific details are available in the minutes.
Very nice. Thank you so much. It looks like it's going to be a busy summer. Strategic planning.
The strategic planning minutes have been distributed and are posted. The primary high-level topics were considerations for academic calendar revision review, which the board just discussed during the work session, and we'll discuss further in the recommendations further along in the meeting, along with just some updates on the strategic plan and comprehensive plan updates that were discussed. And additionally, the final topic was looking at our high school modulars, which we're going to be discussing further as a group further on in the meeting. And we will meet again on July 13th at 7:30 p.m.
Perfect. One thing that I forgot, and before the nominations, I apologize, Michelle, is we did change the time for our annual meeting on the 29th. We suggested we meet at 6:15. I just need to put that out to a vote. So if there's any questions or comments, we can discuss it. If not, do I have a motion to change the annual meeting on the 29th to 6:15 p.m. at the State Road campus?
I'll make that motion to change the time.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Perfect. Thank you very much. All right. Sorry, Michelle, I forgot that.
Sure.
Moving right along, I'll turn over for nominations.
Yes, the Avon Grove Charter School Board of Trustees has 2 openings. So the nomination committee convened this year. As you know, at the beginning of April, we sent out notices about this through school communication, through the website, local paper, and through social media. We accepted applicants for the nomination committee and for Board of Trustees nominations through May 24th. And then last Tuesday, the nomination committee met to interview all the applicants. We are very fortunate this year that we had an excellent group, and it was a difficult decision, but the nomination committee did come to a unanimous decision, and it is to recommend to the board tonight for a vote for next year for Christopher Shuck for the remaining 2-year term and Julia Byram for the 1-year term. So the plan is for the board to vote for that tonight. And if it's accepted by the board, then they will be sworn in at the annual meeting on the 29th for terms starting July 1st. I also want to note just once more that we really had an excellent group, and we're very fortunate to have so many people who are very willing to be dedicated to the school, and that we will have openings again for full terms, which are 4 years, and look for more information about that in the spring, because it's really great that we had so many people, and I want to keep that going for next year. I also really quick wanted to thank the nomination committee, all the volunteers that helped out. A lot of them were returning, and they're so insightful. So that is William Finch, Kelly Reynolds, Cindy Mara, Gwen Talman, and also the board members that participated, which was Dwayne and Stacy, and Kristen was also present for questions too.
All right. Thank you. And Michelle, you did an awesome job running the whole thing. So thank you so much. Round of applause for Michelle. Thank you so much. All right. So we have 2 board members to.
Wait,
Sorry, Rob.
yeah. Hey, Michelle's done a great job the past couple of years with that committee, and we've got great talent on the team because of that, and the board members. So I really appreciate it, Michelle. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob, and we're going to miss you.
Okay, that's enough of the mushy stuff till next time. So it's all good. All right, so we need to vote on those 2 board members. So we'll vote on the first one, Christopher Shuck, for a 2-year term. Any questions or comments? No. Do I have a motion?
Wait, I'll make the motion. Stacy Barnum.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Colleen and Preston. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Excellent, thank you. And for the 1-year term for Julia
Byram.
Byram. Any questions or comments? Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Michelle, thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Kristen, thank you very much. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Perfect. They have been approved. I can't wait to swear them in at the next meeting.
And I also wanted to say thank you to Susan Winierski. I didn't mention that too with all the other thank yous. She does an excellent job coordinating and getting everybody together, which isn't an easy task. So thank you, Susan.
Yes, yes. Now she gets a big round of applause. Thank you, Susan. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, moving right along. Thank you, everyone. We'll move to head of school presentation. Kristen.
Okay, Brian, can you pull it up? All right. So we'll keep going. Well, we had a wonderful graduation. Congratulations to the class of 2021. It was very intimate, insightful, beautiful graduation at the Christian Life Center. And we ended the year with the teachers very strong and looking for a lot of starting the 2021 school year in a normal school year and looking forward to closing this one with a lot of lessons learned and strength, and people were very grateful for a great school year. There is a new theme. We don't have a new logo yet, but it's coming soon. Our new theme for next year is Spirit and Success. The reason why we went with this theme was because we are celebrating 20 years at AGCS next year. And so there's a lot of school spirit, but with all of that comes, we need a new year, a new start for success. So, and I mean that in every sense of the word. Academically, emotionally, we're going to have success and really have high standards for us to come together and give kids as much normalcy as we can. So Spirit and Success kind of captured both of those things that we're looking to do next year. So that's our new theme. We also have a big year coming up with our comprehensive plan approval and our charter renewal. So those are the two big things that we will be talking about to start the school year. So very exciting stuff. Congratulations, class of 2021. So the health guideline update. So we are going to ask for you to approve revisions to our health and safety plan. I know that there was public comment about the Chester County Health Department. I just wanted to say again that I am meeting with the Chester County Health Department even through the summer. They were weekly meetings and now there are bi-weekly meetings that will happen and continue to happen through the summer. So we do get the guidance from the Chester County Health Department along with the PDE. So as far as the updates, the cleaning, sanitizing, disinfecting, ventilation is all going to stay consistent with the summer camps that are happening throughout the summer, along with the expectation of the fall and continuing that cleaning and sanitizing. We still have the wipes that are in all the classrooms, along with the sanitizer stations that are in each of those classrooms. So frequent hand washing will still encourage and still do throughout the fall. As far as we move into the summer months of activities, along with the ESY and our 21-22 school year, we are changing the masks to option of the students and parents and teachers. So if the staff would like to wear a mask, they can. If they don't want to wear a mask, that's fine too. They will have the option to wear a mask or not wear a mask. It's important to remember that the order requiring masks for unvaccinated or partially vaccinated individuals will end on June 20th, 2021, or when 70% of adults are fully vaccinated, whichever one comes first. We did change the outdoor mask policy. There's a farm camp happening right now currently, and in the outdoors, they are not wearing a mask. So most of our camps will fall under after that June 28th, where it will be optional going forward. So the Department of Health and the governor orders will supersede any local decision that we have on face covering. So if something happens throughout the summer months or after, we will look for direction from the Chester County Health Department. These upcoming months will tell us a lot of, how we're doing in our COVID numbers. Our COVID numbers are very low, the lowest we've ever seen through the health pandemic. And then we are going to continue to monitor student and staff health. So if you have COVID symptoms, you still would need to report them. And we do still have tests available if people have COVID symptoms. So that's still something that we would have to practice. If you are positive, which can still happen if you're vaccinated, you will have to still quarantine, but the people around you, if they're vaccinated, would not have to quarantine based on close contact anymore. Yeah, there we go. So that's what I'm speaking about right now in the next bullet, about being vaccinated and quarantining based on that close contact. Again, I mentioned Chester County is over 70% vaccinated now, not the state of Pennsylvania, but Chester County is over 70%. And then the health and safety plan will be revised and approved every 6 months. That was part of the stipulation from the PDE. So regardless if we have any changes, it has to be looked at every 6 months. During the summer months, we are expecting more guidance. And so if there's updates, we will update. But as of right now, we're asking for those changes. So I'm asking for a motion from the board tonight. We did talk a little bit about this in work session. If there's any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them, but I am looking for a motion to update our health and safety plan.
Does anyone on the board have any questions or comments that weren't asked or need clarification from the working session?
I do have one comment in the health and safety plan, and I'm not quite sure what page it's on, but it does say about if you've had COVID within the last 3 months that you don't need to quarantine. The wording in it was after the first bout of COVID, and I think it needs to change after the latest bout of COVID, because that's what the CDC has in their guidelines. So it's a small little tweak, and I apologize, I don't know what page it's on right now.
That's all right, I'll look it up. I can make that change with the approval.
Yeah, and it's just changing from first to the latest.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other comments or questions from the other board members?
And just to clarify, if somebody is positive with COVID, obviously we would still continue to call the Chester County Health Department and they would give us guidance moving forward.
Okay. If there is no further questions or comments, I'll accept a motion to approve the health and safety update and revision as presented with the change mentioned by Michelle. Do I have a motion?
Doing Stacy Barnall, motion to approve the health and safety plan update from 6/15/21.
Okay, do I have a second?
Yes, second.
Okay, Susan, would you do a roll call vote, please?
Sorry, Dwayne Degler,
Approve?
Eugene Steger, Stacy Barno,
Approve.
Rob Vernier,
Approved.
Deji Akintoy,
Approved.
Brian Ladman,
Approve.
Michelle McCray,
Approve.
Colleen Preston,
Approve.
Kristen Smith.
Approve.
Thank you. So it carries. Thank you very much, Kristen, for that. Moving right along.
Next slide. All right, so Mr. Bruto, do you want to take the calendar one?
Yeah, so this was talked at length in the work session, but to just kind of I'll be as brief as possible. The Department of Education has indicated that they're going to continue to provide flexibility for schools in the 21-22 school year to utilize remote learning, whether it's synchronous or asynchronous, for instructional minutes for next year. So that means we received that information in the middle of May. We went back to our calendar and looked at some ways that we could have some planned asynchronous instruction, primarily around our parent-teacher conferences, which we always would have as either half days or student days off. By planning those 4 days of November 22nd, November 23rd, March 3rd, and March 4th as students being at home, but having an asynchronous independent learning day, that we would gain 4 instructional days within our school calendar. And then the question came back of, well, what do we do with those days? We went through 3 different scenarios. One was ending the school year earlier, but we felt that with where our PSSA and Keystone windows were, final exams in our high school, all of our end of year events and graduation and closing out the school year, with only 4 days returning back from the Memorial Day holiday, might be a little bit of a tight window. We also talked about spreading out 4 additional professional development days within the calendar where students would have off. And then we talked about moving the start of the school year back to a post-Labor Day start for students, and giving our staff 4 additional in-service and professional development days at the beginning of the year to ensure that we transition back to a normal school year of operations in a strong manner. We talked about having back to school nights and meet and greets sort of happen, well, combining those and having that happen again that week as opposed to later in September or October. Making sure that we are prepared with revisiting how school operations are going to happen, giving our students a little bit of an extra summer vacation, returning back at the end of or after Labor Day. Having a little bit of a longer summer also helps us with some of our facility projects, and it allows us to be as prepared as we can possibly be to return with spirit and success in the 21-22 school year.
Good for you, Brian.
There we go. See what I did there? So that was, we talked about this as an administrative team. It was talked about with our Quest representatives, which are our teacher groups. It was discussed at our last strategic planning meeting, and then talked in a little more length at the board working session. The recommendation from school administration would be to have a motion from the board to adopt this calendar revision, with the change being that the student start date will be pushed back to September 7th, which is post Labor Day. Everything else pretty much stays the same. Students will still end on June 9th in 2022. And in the working session, we made it a point to point out that we have been approved for flexible instructional days, as well as have this additional flexibility for remote learning to be counting as school days next year. So that, we would anticipate that June 9th end date would continue to remain June 9th, even due to inclement weather events throughout the school year. And more information would come out as we near the 21-22 school year on what those inclement weather days would look like under our flexible instructional plan.
So Brian, let me just repeat that. That means that they will have asynchronous work, be able to play in the snow and be able to do their work so that we end the school year at the appropriate time.
Correct.
Okay.
All right. So is there any questions or comments from the board? Okay. Is there a motion to approve the 2021-2022 academic calendar revision as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve the 21-22 school year calendar.
Kristen Smith, thank you. Is there a second?
Yep, I'll second.
All right, Colleen, thank you very much. Any further discussion? My daughter's
Just
gonna
that
kill me.
I'll make sure that this gets out. The goal of this vote was to make sure that it's communicated to parents and everybody in the community and our sending school districts, because this alters their transportation arrangements as early as possible. So we'll get all that out tomorrow.
All right. My daughter's birthday is June 10th. She always wants to end on the 10th. So I'm going to be in trouble. No, it's all good. So all in favor?
Don't they have another 9?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. She wants to be in school on the 10th. So moving right along. Kristen?
Okay, Brian's gonna go over the parent survey stuff. Keep it moving there, Bruto.
So every year, well, we didn't do it last year because of we weren't in school and it was a hectic end of the school year, but every year we do a parent feedback survey to gain some insight from our parents and wanted to, and we do look at this. So I've sent out a couple messages of how important it is for parents to give us this feedback and this information, because we do look at this in some of our in our planning moving forward and the initiatives that we put out. So wanted to share some of the highlights of the survey with the board, because I think it speaks to and is a testament to a lot of the hard work that the staff did this year to try to make as uncommon a year as consistent as we could for families and parents, and really respond to something none of us were necessarily trained or prepared for, and do it as a community of parents and board members and administrators and staff and teachers and everybody involved. So this year we had over 400 responses and a good sampling across all of the grade levels. If you kind of look at the pie charts, you can see decent percentages across all of the grade levels and a decent percentage of of parents who have been here, sort of families who have been here for a really long time, as well as new families. So we got a good gambit of feedback. We ask these questions pretty consistently over the last 5 or so years. In board docs, you can see percentage comparison stacked across each other. If you want to look year to year how we do. So we ask what factors contributed to your desire to leave your home school district, and class size, quality of instruction are some of the highest ones of why students are leaving. What factors contributed to your decision to continue to have your child attend? So you've already enrolled, and from year to year, you continue to be a family with us. Quality of instruction, school climate, and individualized attention that their child receives were the responses that were entered the most. A lot of these are Likert scale, moving from strongly disagree to strongly agree. So on this one, 5 is a good response. So I'm satisfied with the experiences my child receives from his or her teachers. Very, very high positive response from parents related to our teaching staff. We then break down school administrators, teachers, guidance counselors, and nurses in services and support for their children. Again, strongly agree to agree was the main submissions for parents. So highly satisfied. Parents highly satisfied that their students' instructional needs are being met by their teachers. Strongly agree that they believe their child is actively challenged in his or her classes. Strongly agree that the school keeps them actively informed of their child's academic progress through the year. And this is something that we continue to try to make sure we get better at, in that partnership between parents and the school, with them knowing where their children are at, and how they're progressing through the school year. Strongly agree that both buildings in the school is a safe place for their children. Strongly agree again and feel as though the school promotes a positive and supportive learning environment. This is that their child has communicated to them that they've been bullied or called names. So the wording of this is could probably be changed, but answers in the 1 and 2 is good. So we would want parents to strongly disagree that their child has communicated that they have been bullied. So it's kind of like a double negative question, not necessarily worded the best way once I was going through all of this. But everyone answered it hopefully the right way, because the data came back the way we would have wanted it. I would recommend that Avon Charter School to friends whose children attend elsewhere. The highest rate of return on the question, how did you hear about us, on new applications is always a referral from like word of mouth and family friends. So that is primarily how we are driving new enrollments. This again is we wanted 1s and 2s. It's sort of another double negative. My child has communicated to me that they've been bullied from other students via the internet and social media. This is something I think we talked about last year, where was this something we were going to see a spike in with the amount of students who we were primarily having on virtual instruction and promoting device use and kids connecting via Zoom and everything. But parents said that this wasn't any different than any previous year in terms of parental return for the responses here. How would you rate the physical state of the school facilities? 8, 9s, and 10s, the majority. And if you look at the year-over-year rates on this in the board docs, this is increment. This has grown in the positive direction each year over the last 5 years. So I think that the commitment of the business office and Kristen and the facility staff and you as the board in prioritizing some of these facility updates that are ones that our community sees, the windows, the collaboratory, the bathroom renovations, we have on our agendas, the high school modulars. These are things that they see and are improving the look and feel of our school and the environment. How effective are the existing facilities in creating an environment for your child to learn? Again, high agree and strongly agree rates. I then asked for a number of anecdotal feedback and tried to theme and group them for the administration and the board. So we asked the question, what do you see as the school's strengths? The majority of the comments were kind of grouped in communication, school climate and culture, rigorous academics. This is a K through 12 spectrum of responses. So rigorous academics, the response to the pandemic, caring and nurturing staff, an inclusive environment, family atmosphere, individualized attention, and a smaller school setting. So all positive things, good things we like to hear and reinforce that because we spend a lot of time in focusing on these things, but that is seen as a strength of ours. We then asked if there's one thing you could change about the school, what would it be? Air conditioning and HVAC was number. This isn't ranked in any order, but I'll point out that air conditioning and HVAC was number one. The most submitted response of once by the parents. TCHS enrollment, a number of comments about busing arrangements with districts, better transitions between schools and divisions, which we actually talked about as part of our strategic planning efforts coming up. Reducing class sizes. So you saw class size as a strength on the other one. It's also pointed out as one thing that we'd like to change. And I think that's sort of the nomenclature of what class size means. I think to some people, class size means my 7th grader is coming to Avon Grove Charter School and is now one of 140 kids as opposed to one of like 400 kids in a larger middle school. However, there are some grades that have 20, 26 students in it. So I think that could be looked at in 2 different ways. High school and middle school modulars, again, something that we were talking about in terms of needing to be replaced. Number of parents in terms of communication listed that they would like to start to get SMS and text messaging as part of our notification systems. More clear communication protocols. I grouped that in. There were a number of parents who responded about daytime phone calls that are non-emergency based, which we understand and we've talked about that as an administrative team. The number of emails that are sent to families, especially families with multiple students in multiple divisions, getting messaging from multiple sort of principals and different school programs. Less direct fundraising, so not sort of tapping the parents and immediate family in terms of fundraising as often. Later school start time was a suggestion that was submitted a number of times for our secondary students. More project-based learning, elementary and middle school world language offerings, as well as elementary and middle school club offerings. So looking at expanding that for those grade levels. And that was the majority of the information that I wanted to consolidate and just share with the public and with the board. The board, you have the access to the sort of year over year comparison by each question so that you can see growth rates in responses over the years. If there's any questions.
I'm going to jump back to the conversation about the graduates. I forgot that we need to make a motion to approve the Avon Grove Charter School graduate senior class of 2021 as presented and pending satisfactory completion of any outstanding graduation requirements. So I just want to circle back real quick to make sure we get that motion that had a list of the graduates.
We'll make sure they're official.
I thanked the graduates, but I forgot to ask for the motion to approve the graduates.
Do I have a motion to approve the charter school, Evan Grove Charter School High School graduating class of 2021?
I'll make that motion.
Excellent. I'll actually do the second. I'm excited. All in favor? All opposed? Excellent. So it's moved. And just again, a round of applause for everyone who put that on.
Brian, can you go
It
back?
was
to the
wonderful.
Presentation, sorry. So, Brian, thanks for all that information. That kind of leads us into our goal slide. Can you go back? Sorry.
I'm pulling it up. Hold on a second.
So part of the conversation has been about taking some of the information, and as we focus on our school year for next year, rigorous teaching and learning, supporting all learners, championing our community, and modernizing our facilities and systems is the 4 buckets that we'd like to concentrate our 2021-2024 goals. Next slide. So in those buckets, we talk about the main strategic goal being that we're ensuring all students are engaged in rigorous standards aligned academic curriculum and learning experience designed to foster college and career readiness skills. So what does that mean? Curriculum and instruction is in a curriculum cycle of framework of writing. And we've talked about that and what that looks like. The math and writing, or the math and ELA English curriculum, is something that for the last 2 to 4 years, teachers have had a lot of work around and access. So with it being a typical school year next year, we'll be focusing a lot on standards and intervention and where kids are falling in that MTSS system to make sure that they get the right support, the right intervention, so that we can make the best of the time that we have with them. So that is something we're pushing hard for next year, and we'll be visiting frequently and reporting out to the board. The state road master schedule is also something that we're looking to revisit, especially with the modular replacement project. So that's something we're looking at, along with, we hired a new coach for next year, and we're talking about the instructional piece and how we support teachers in those interventions and in that support of the curriculum. And then again, intervention is really going to be key to where these kids are falling in the data and what kinds of interventions they need. So the support for all learners is about the school community providing curriculum, professional development, support protocols that promote that social emotional awareness for students and staff. We talked about revisiting the CAP program, the social emotional piece that Ryan Taylor's reported out on several times. Equity team is meeting this summer with the equity goals, and then PBIS. So obviously those are topics that we have visited as the board and that we will continue to report out on as our goals. And then championing community is really about assuring community awareness, participation, and forging relationships with various stakeholders and groups. And then the big goal is modernizing our facility system, so that modular replacement and the comprehensive facilities evaluation is where a lot of our funding commitment has been discussed. And the next annual meeting, we will ask if you have any questions about the goals, but more importantly, we'll be focusing all that meeting on the modular replacement and the suggestions that are being made by the architect, so all the committees can hear it, so that we can discuss it and make sure that we move forward with a plan. Okay, so that's really where we'll spend our time, and I wanted to make sure that you got awareness of the goals. At the last strategic planning committee meeting, and Brian, I don't know if you can pull this up easy or not, we discussed a dashboard on our website that will measure our goals, so that as a board, you can go to the website and parents to see where we are in our goals, how we're meeting our goals. Brian put that together, and it's a really good dashboard. We love the COVID dashboard, so we're going to keep the dashboards going now with academic progress instead of COVID numbers. So everybody should be very happy about that. But this talks more about the goal achievement and how we're going to get there. Do you want to show them, Brian?
Yeah, so this portion right now, if you go to the website, everything for the metrics and student achievement, learning environment, and school characteristics are all public and available. So you can go in and you can see, the percent of proficient and advanced students on our PSSA mathematics going back to the 2014-15. You can drill down by grade level. This is all available to the board and to staff and to parents. In an effort to be, open and transparent. This is our data. And when we move forward with this strategic plan, we are, as part of those priority areas of rigorous teaching and learning, support for all learners, modernizing our facilities and systems, and championing community, we're obviously going to be setting benchmark data and data that we're going to be tracking on whether or not the efforts that we are doing are being successful in some strategic and pinpointed data points. So, this is just us playing and building in the system, but you'll be able to see, goal rates and closing the achievement gap numbers that we'll be updating over time, so that you can hold us accountable and we can hold the schools held accountable against a measure that we're saying this is where we would want to be. And then on the strategy side, you'll see as we continue to build out those goal areas, and then where we are at with the completion of the action items that are falling underneath those goals. So for example, you can see here under rigorous teaching and learning, one example of our action items is to continue to implement the school's curriculum planning and alignment framework to produce standards aligned curriculum across K through 12 classrooms. So as we move through that goal, within our strategic planning period, which we were looking at 3 years, we'll continue to provide updates, and you will see those kind of check off like, yes, this is done, or where are we at with that for those interim progress checks that will happen through the strategic planning committee. And then as we come back to the board. So this will kind of be this strategic dashboard that's on our website within the school board area will kind of be home to a lot of this information moving forward.
Looks
In a
amazing.
visible manner.
Yeah.
Any questions? Okay.
Okay.
Hi,
All right.
Brian.
Brian and Kristen, you're all done?
We're finished.
All right, thanks. All right, moving along to business and finance. Rob, treasurer's report.
Sure. All right. It's not a long one this month, which is great. My best ones.
You made the print small.
AGCS financial statements approval. Based on the review of the financial statements as prepared, administration is recommending the 2021 April financial documents be presented to the Board of Trustees for their review and consideration to approve under the consent agenda. 2021 May funds activity and vendor billing reports. The committee reviewed the 2021 May funds activity and vendor billing reports. Administration is requesting the board to approve the 2021 May fund activity vendor billing reports as presented on the consent agenda. Cash position. Cash position is very good. We're actually getting payments from other school districts. The AGCS 2021-2022 fiscal year budget. So the 2021-2022 budget was formally presented to the board in our May meeting, and it was under consideration for approval in this meeting. So no additional questions or requests were presented to us. So I need a motion from the board to approve the 2021-2022 AGCS fiscal year budget as presented.
Rob, I motion for approval.
Thank you, Deji.
Kristen Smith, second.
Very good. Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. All those opposed? Motion carried. All right. The PDE 2028 general fund budget filing fiscal year 2021-2022. The annual PDE 2028 general fund budget has been completed and distributed to the board for their review. The document has been reviewed and verified for the 2021-2022 budget. The state filing and submission of the fully executed signature page is due no later than July 20th, 2021. Administration is recommending the board approve this as presented. So I need a motion to approve the PDE 2028 general fund budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2022 as presented. Can I get a motion?
I'll motion to approve Stacy Barno.
Thank you, Stacy.
I'll second. Dwayne Degler.
Thank you, Dwayne. Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, motion carried. All right, AGCS Board Resolution 2021-09, Physical Management Fund Balance. AGCS Board Resolution 2021-09, Physical Management Fund Balance, Annual Board Funds Commitment. Based on the review of the school's fund balance, administration is recommending the Board of Trustees commit $4 million of the general fund balance for future AGCS facilities, capital improvement, and/or expansion projects as requested for instruction program development. So just so you guys are aware, as you know, the modulars are coming, off. We have to start putting money aside to determine what we're going to do in long-term situation to build what we need. And we usually don't commit this many funds, but we have the funds, so we're committing them so that so that we make sure we're setting our future ahead of us. And Daisy, you can add in here because we've had quite a few conversations on this, and I feel confident that that's the right amount. And Daisy, please jump in here if you feel that that is correct as well.
Yeah, I agree. We have discussed it several times, and it makes perfect sense.
Great. So can I get a motion to approve the resolution 2021-09 as presented?
I'll motion Michelle McCray.
Thank you, Michelle.
I'll second. Dwayne Degler.
Thank you, Dwayne. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Susan, you're on here. For some reason, the trust is not spelled right throughout this next section. If you can fix that for our minutes for next month. So the trust line of credit resolution 2021-10, AGCS has been approved renewal of their $1.5 million line of credit and trust with trust. The renewal loan document are in process and will be required for the business office shortly. Once received, all loan documents will be reviewed, the bond counselor and administration before any action is taken. Administration is requesting board approve the resolution 2021-10, granting the chief financial officer authorization to execute the line of credit for loan documentation. And I just want to give a little background to this for newer board members. We need this line of credit in case we don't get paid from some of the school districts, or we don't have the finances, so we have to borrow. So line of credit, $1.5 million, we need just in case. And this, as long as I've been on the board, we've never utilized it, but just wanted you guys to be aware that we have that just in case something goes wrong. For the resolution of the AGCS board 2021-10, can I get a motion to approve the 2021-10 as presented?
Rob, can we just make one comment before you get that motion? It is Truist Bank. It's not Trust. It is Truist. BB&T became Truist Bank.
Oh, it is Truist.
Yeah, so there is no corrections.
Oh, well, my spell check corrected me, and it's corrected me incorrectly. Bad.
Actually, as of June 24th, BB&T becomes Truist.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay, thank you, Gene.
All right, so I'll let you ask for the motion again.
All right, can I get a motion to approve the resolution 2021-10 as presented?
I'll make a motion. Dwayne Degler.
Thank you, Dwayne.
Brian Leidman, I'll second.
Brian, thank you. So any other questions? All right. Is there everybody motion to approve?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? All right, motion's carried. All right, Bank of New York Mellon debt service wire transfer authorization level. The Bank of New York Mellon 2017 bond debt service payment amount notification for the first half of next fiscal year has not been received. It is expected later this week. Once received, the invoice calculation will be reviewed and verified. The wire transfer authorization letter will be prepared for the periods covering July 15, 2021 through December 15, 2021. Administration will be recommending the board approve the document as presented at the June 29, 2021 annual meeting. So 2021-2022 bank signature card signer and board treasurer and secretary security bonds. Bank account signature cards signers were discussed as well as the 2021-2022 security bond required for the board treasurer and secretary. With our board treasurer stepping down as of June 30th, the business office is requesting different handling this year. The business is requesting the board officers appointments board reorganization occur at the annual meeting to help ensure the physical requirements could be completed timely and to not impact disrupt business office operations. And I didn't see it on the agenda today, but we need to discuss the appropriate board verification of the officers. And I might have missed it. So Dwayne, you probably have it on there, but I probably missed it.
The working session. Yeah, we did it at the working session.
We did it at the working, but we have to talk about it this time in order to approve next time. Is that correct?
No, we have to do it once the new members are sworn in.
Okay, my bad.
So we'll do it on the next one.
I have a quick question. Donna, does that give you enough time to get the signatures for the cards?
If the board notifies me prior to that meeting and then they're sworn in, then I can get their signature cards and their driver's license, and then I can go to the bank and start that process. So that would give us plenty of time.
Okay.
To get that.
All right.
And I appreciate the board's help getting that done.
Yep. Perfect. Thank you, Rob. Appreciate that.
Yep. And last thing is the business offices continue to push forward with the implementation of Sage Intacct financial accounting platform. It's going to come down here, but Donna and her team have done an tremendous amount of work. And Daisy jumped in here. We've seen what they've had to push through to actually make this conversion work, which our CPAs have recommended we do. And I just want to give them a big shout out to all the work they've done. So that being said, the implementation of the system has been changing with the required work and rounds of every next step. The team remains committed and working to identify additional schools and resources that might help provide solutions. On a much better note, the legacy data migration occurred last week, which was huge. The component of the project went great. Platform transition did a wonderful job, and the business office did an amazing job of data mapping. Like Terry and Brittany and Susan, thank you very much for all the work you guys have done, because this is like a whole other job that you guys didn't have to do before. And administration is continuing to provide updates to the finance committee on the board as we move closer to our go live date, July 1st, which is right around the corner. So I just wanted to let you guys know that the work they've done, and me and Daisy have been in there monthly, making sure that they get any support they need. So just wanted to say thank you again. And then under our last notion, I need a consent agenda, motion to approve the business office consent agenda as presented this evening.
Rob, Stacy Barner, I'll make a motion to approve the business office consent agenda.
Thank you very much. Can I get a second?
I'll second. Michelle McCray.
Thank you, Michelle. Any questions? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, everybody.
Great job, Rob. All right, moving right along. Tasha,
Good evening, everybody. The consent agenda is as follows. Under resignations, we have 6. Kimberly Colgan Feeney, cafeteria aide, effective June 9th. Sherry Hill, cafeteria associate, effective June 9th. Sue Ann Skelly, cafeteria associate, effective June 9th. Christina Staub, ELC instructional aide, effective June 10th. Kelly Green, ELC instructional aide, effective June 7th. And Tara DiGiacomo, ELC instructional aide, effective June 10th. We did not receive any retirements nor releases. We had one under leaves, and that's Angela Ham, 2nd grade teacher who returned from FMLA on June 3rd. Under professional staff, we have 5 offers. Barry Keith, school social worker, effective August 18th. Amy Chandler, 4th grade teacher, effective August 18th. Eliza Malloy, middle school special education teacher, effective August 18th. Jordan Otto, high school special education teacher, effective August 18th. And Andrew Hartman, STEM teacher, grades 4 through 8, effective August 18th. We have 4 support staff that offers were made to. Liz Cologne, cafeteria associate at State Road, effective August 18th. Caitlin Simpson, a cafeteria associate, ELC, effective August 18th. Amanda Buttery, cafeteria associate, effective 18th. And Aaron Sharon, cafeteria associate, State Road, effective August 18th. We did not have any contracted vendors. Under seasonal staff, we have Tennyson Nelson, who will be the microfarm intern, effective June 21st through August 20th. James Winarski, summer facilities, effective May 24th. Joshua Sapila, summer facilities, effective May 24th. Joshua Rain, summer facilities, effective June 1st. Matthew Rain, summer facilities, effective June 21st. Reed Skelly, summer facilities, effective June 21st. And last, Daniel Michael, summer facilities, effective June 7th. So it's been a busy couple of months. Administration is recommending the approval of the staffing changes provided within the personnel consent agenda, specifically items listed from 8A through 8I.
busy is an understatement there, Tasha, so good work. Do I have a motion to approve the staffing changes provided through 8A through 8I?
I'll make a motion to approve staffing changes.
Kristen Smith, thank you. Do I have a second?
Brian Ladman, I'll second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Perfect, motion carries.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Policies, Donna?
Okay, so we have 2 policies for the board approval tonight. Both policies were presented to the board at the May meeting for their 30-day review and consideration. So the business office is requesting a motion to approve the policy 4005 internal controls policy and policy 4026 volume 1, the 2020 federal fiscal compliance, to include the ESSER guidelines and the 5 attachments that have been provided, and copies are included on the agenda.
Okay. Any questions or comments for Donna? No. Do I have a motion to approve these policies?
Rob Renier, motion to approve.
I'll
All right,
second.
Rob and Michelle seconds. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
And then we have one policy that we need to rescind. It is an older AGCS policy, petty cash. With the approval of the internal controls policy, the petty cash policy, older policy is now superseded. So we'll need a motion to rescind the AGCS petty cash policy as presented to the board.
Okay. Any questions for Donna on this policy being rescinded? Do I have a motion to approve rescinding the petty cash policy?
Joanne, I'll make a motion to approve Stacy Barno.
Thank you.
I'll second Rob Bernier.
Thank you, Rob. All in favor? Aye. Unopposed? Perfect. Thank you very much. All right. Well, that brings us to the last section. Anything final from the school principals or directors? No. Anything from any of the committee members or board members?
One, if you don't mind, Dwayne, I'd like to
Oh,
thank Kristen Smith and Rob Rainier for all their service they've done. And I would like to make a motion that we approve a commendation for both of them.
Thank you, Gene.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is that an official motion? All right. Would anybody like to make a motion to accommodate?
He would like it memorialized.
All right. We'll get a brick in the building.
We'll go in the minutes.
We'll name each new trailer after the Christians. All right.
Thanks, Dwayne.
Thank you, Gene. That's awesome. Thank you.
Great job, Kristen. Great job, Rob. Thank you for all your service. And I know all the students, all the faculty, the staff, and the parents really appreciate all your service.
Rob, you'll be in at the next meeting for the final goodbye though, right?
Yes, I will make sure I make it in. Yes.
Yeah. So, all right. So remember, our next meeting will be live. So look for that. If there's nothing else, Rob, for the final, for the final time, may I have a motion? Does anyone make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll motion to adjourn the final.
Thank you. Second. And Kristen Smith seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, everyone, have a great evening. Thank you so much.